Hello, we're back again. Actually, something just came to me this morning, and I thought, well, I've got some time. Let me do a video. Let me share it with you guys. And the sort of title of the talk came to mind, something like how you create your heaven and hell, and how you create them, or how you create heaven, how you create hell. Now, it's not as obvious as it seems. It's like hell is a personal creation. Heaven isn't. What's he talking about now? What's he muttering on about? Just got a sticky finger here, and I'm going to explain. I'm going to use my own experience, something of the last sort of 8 to 9 months, going on for 10 months. It's about last autumn, last year, 2020. I started to get symptoms of shakiness, and I had all the tests, the MRIs and stuff, and it wasn't anything, couldn't find anything serious. It wasn't early Parkinson's or anything of that nature, but it kept happening, and they didn't know why. And it comes and goes, and it seems to be improving. Okay? You can't tell from, in fact, it's not really here at the moment. Yeah, but anyway. But at some point, I had a phone call with a doctor, and she said it might be something quite serious. I won't tell you what, because if anybody has that illness, I don't want to upset anybody, okay? But said it might be X. Oh, goodness, okay. And then somehow that got in to the mind, what we call the mind. And there'd be times, I remember going to the hospital, there was a lot of shaking going on, so I went to A&E. And this one particular time, the mind created a hell. Or I could see it creating a hell. There were times when I could see it. So the mind would pick up a theme, and this is what happens when we suffer. This is the hell realm. Buddhism calls this the hell realm. It's mind created by thoughts and images. Okay, so the mind would, or rather thoughts would happen in images of me in the future and how this illness is going to affect this body. And it'd be like 5 years, 10 years, and am I going to go through with it all, and what's the alternatives? And it had me an image of me and how I would be, and it wasn't very pleasant. And when my attention, this is the key, when the attention would be lost in the image of me in the future, that was hell. The anxiety would flare up. That world would seem real. This is real. Not that you say that to yourself, or I was saying that to myself, but this is real. That was the belief. And then, through practice, I could see it happening. And the anxiety was still there, but then when it was seen, like a movie. It's like watching a movie, and hell, like a disaster movie. Hell is actually believing you are in the movie, you are a character in the movie. But what I was able to do at times was step back, because it was very strong. There was a very strong pull to go there. And it's all about protection, really. The mind, it doesn't know what to do. Then, when you can watch that happening, it's like sitting in the cinema on your seat, eating your popcorn. Yeah? And knowing that you're not the character in there. That doesn't mean that I don't go to the continue going to the hospital and get it healed if possible. Yeah, but that's not hell. It's not pleasant, but it's not hell. I'd rather not have to do that. So two things that I was beginning to see there, or rather, two things I've been seeing. And when this was happening, it was a bit more difficult to see. But generally, what was being seen, let me just stop wittering. That image of me, if I looked at it, it isn't me. It's an image of me. Where is it? If I open my eyes, where is it? It's an image. It's like an image in a mirror. It's not me. When I walk away from the mirror, does the image remain? No. So it's not me. That's not the self. Are you with me? It's an image in the mind. It's a thought image. And then what I was able to see too was that that image of me in the future isn't the future. It's happening now. It isn't the future. So the story wasn't true. The mind was telling a story. And at times it was taking me to hell. And then, because it was so strong, I would lose awareness. We don't lose awareness, but you know what I mean. The attention would get lost in it. And that's what fuels it. That's what keeps it all going, keeps it alive. So the more personal, the more self, the more me-centered that story is, the more we suffer. It's very personal. Are you with me? It's all about me and my future. We've done this before, but I want to do it again. Okay? See the difference? Stay with me. You might have done this before, but stay with me. Watch the difference. The more personal, the tighter, the more self-centered thinking there is, the tighter it all becomes. And that's suffering. That's hell. At some point, it could become hellish. And the awakened state or the enlightened state, I don't particularly like those terms. I probably prefer the awakened state. When the more awake we are, the less self-centered thinking there is. Functional thinking and practical thinking continues, and creative thinking. See, it's this my house, my car, my phone, my wife, my husband, my children, my suitcase, my body. Now gets personal, doesn't it? My body, my thoughts. What's this my at the back of it all? What is it? There's a wonderful book by a monk called Ajahn Sumedho called Don't Take Your Life Personally. And see, when we can come out of that self-centered state, we naturally open to more pleasant, more happier, peaceful states, which is the natural state. The self-centered thinking isn't the natural state. That's why we suffer, because it's not the natural state. The natural state is one of expansion. A lot of the same emotions still happen, but they're not, there's not that claiming, oh, I don't like this, and me, and oh, Milo, oh, what's this mean? What does this mean for me? Me. Me. I remember when I first started going on retreat in the mid-90s, early to mid-90s, 1990s. And I remember when I remember walking around, going through some beautiful walks, because, I went to actually live at the place I used to visit, Vajraloka in North Wales. I go there quite a lot because I was into meditation. That's for me, that was the path. And, but I remember I was always thinking about myself. How am I? I'm okay, I think. I think I'm okay. Oh, don't know. What's that? Oh, what's this? Feels a bit uncomfortable. Feels not quite right. Yeah. And I'd be analysing and monitoring myself almost continuously. There's no peace there. For goodness sake, give it up. There's no peace there. How do I appear to others? Yeah. Should put this plugged in, guys. Got it plugged in. The screen's likely to go off. But I remember, after going on, I can't remember how long now, guys, but I remember one time, I think I was living there, and I just remember, I don't think about myself so much. Oh, that's interesting. That self-centered thinking, it just loosened, it just lessened, it just released a little. And then there's ease to the amount that if it eases 10%, you feel 10% more at ease. It's just the way it is. So the work of meditation, of mindfulness, of mindfulness unleashed, this is why I call it unleashed, guys. I don't want to sugarcoat things for us. I really dislike that way of approaching things, and you're worth it, you deserve it, and as though that's going to really make any difference. It's not about deserving or not deserving. Irrelevant. All the wishing in the world won't make you happy. All the affirmations, I'm not saying don't do them, but they're severely limited. They're limited. They won't do it. They won't bring the goods. We have to look at the only place that suffering exists. Is suffering existing in your hands? I'm not saying if you banged it or you hit it with a hammer or something, it's not hurting, but that's pain. Yeah. I remember reading one of my favourite teachers, Ajahn Chah, and Ajahn Sumedho too. Ajahn Sumedho was Ajahn Chah's student. Ajahn Chah was a Thai forest monk. He was the abbot of a brilliant teacher. He loved Westerners. He used to take the mickey out of them. Yeah. But Ajahn Sumedho was sweeping leaves, and what you do over there, you sweep the leaves, then you just start again. It's like it's never ending. And Ajahn Chah walked past me. You could tell he was like a bit sort of pissed off, and I oh, for goodness sake, yeah. And he just said to him, my teacher did something very similar to me, but he just said to Ajahn Sumedho, oh, in Thai and translated, rather, oh, Sumedho, where's the suffering? Is it in the leaves? Is it in the broom? And then walked on, laughed and walked on. He knew where the suffering was. There's only one place. Pain is in the body. if you're sitting in meditation and you get uncomfortable at some point, you move. You don't cause pain to yourself. Yeah. Don't inflict it. We move. Make ourselves comfortable. So that's what meditation is. That's what Zazen or mindfulness. Really, they're all the same. You can get caught up. What's the difference between mindfulness and meditation? And and you want to know that. And it depends on your definition. Depends on your definition. I get bored with it all. What matters is watching your mind. That's meditation. That's mindfulness. That's Zazen. Being here. Noticing what takes you away from being here. Noticing the stories, the personal dramas. That's what you want to be noticing. Don't let a day go by where you don't watch your thoughts. You won't catch everyone, and just label them. I'm having the thought, or just having the thought. Having the thought. Da-da-da-da. Or just see it, just arising out of nowhere. Where do thoughts come from? Have a look now. Even think deliberately. Where do thoughts come from? Don't they just appear out of a sort of emptiness, out of a spaciousness? Where do they go? I don't know. Where do they go? Where do they come from? Where do they go? We don't know. Has any thought ever hung around forever? Any thought that you started having at 6, is that still there now? Is the thought you had yesterday still there now? Same thought. Just on. No. What thought you're going to have at, just before your next meal? What thought you're going to have? What thought you're going to have during the meal? After the meal? 10 o'clock this evening? The mind has a life of its own. That's why Ajahn Sumedho is asking us to learn not to take it personally. Don't take your thoughts personally. And that's what we do. We start to watch them. Like, we don't take the movie personally when we're sitting eating our popcorn or crisps. We don't take it personally. But we take this movie personally. Yeah. And it's understandable why. It's talking about me, and it seems to be referencing me all the time, and that creates this sense of a neurotic self. But this thing thinking about me all the time, and it doesn't say nice things. Oh, it's hell. Admit it. It makes us miserable. But it doesn't have to be like that. Make your practice regular. You don't even have to call it a practice. Just have some still time. Just have some downtime where you're observing your mind and just coming back to this, to the body, to the aliveness of the body. And when you come back to the aliveness, the seeing is happening, the hearing is happening, the feeling is happening. Feeling or sensing. Smelling and tasting may not be quite so prominent. But instead, what do we spend our time doing? In the story. There's real life and there's the story of life. Why do you want to spend time in a story? I'll tell you why. Because it's a habit and it makes us feel important. It's because it's about me. It just makes us miserable. So hell is personal, or feels personal. Very tight sense of me. Oh, that's depression. Very all about, very tight. Oh, we wear our thoughts like our skin. It's all very close. All about me, me, me. I'm looking at all. Oh. So we have to observe this. And as we start observing, we start to become the observer or the observing. That begins to strengthen, becomes stronger. It's not quite how it becomes, I can't think of a better word at the moment. That the power to observe strengthens. Okay. And as we, learn to step over those thoughts. I'm just trying to come up with metaphors to help. There's the labeling, which I found really useful. There's the seeing the thought and just step over it. Pay it no heed. It's there. You see it. You see it. There's the observing. Here's the thought. You see it, and it's gone. It's come from nowhere, gone back into nowhere. You see it, and you might even see the content of it to do with your argument with X. Whatever. Yeah, so it's seen, but you don't move away from here. You see it. What we do normally is we keep getting involved with all the thinking, and that's the hell. Depending on the quality, the content, yeah, the density of that thinking. Oh, yeah. And we lose this. This collapses. In a sense, collapses, just goes, there's the thought, just goes, and gets lost in the story. And then it's all dark. And then, at some point we do pop out of it. And then we go back in. Yeah. The more we observe, the more we become this, which is still. Just here. It doesn't have opinions. It doesn't judge. It doesn't have beliefs. It's peaceful. It's quiet. In fact, it's silent. But it's the mind that's noisy, not the observing. It's the mind. The hands are not shouting. The eyes are not complaining about what they see. I can look at my new shoes and the eyes just see them. The mind goes, oh, they're nice. I look at my old shoes that are, holy and wet when I walk in. The eyes just see them and the mind goes, get rid of them. So it's the mind that judges. And there's usefulness in that. I'm not saying that's not useful. But what happens when we stop getting over-involved in it, the mind becomes the most creative instrument in the universe. It's a beautiful creative instrument. It's a tool. Anyway. I think you'd be drunk after all that. Got a bit excited there. We can do it, guys. We can. We can make that difference. But you need regularity. Yeah. Do. Keep coming along. Watch the videos. Come along to the Friday evenings. And if you come along to we have those Saturdays here and online. We have them online so more and more people can join in. The Friday is part of your membership. At least come along to that, or listen to the recording. I put the audio on the members page, on the satsangs page. Just the audio because, yeah, it's just easier to do, detract the audio. And, you know, some people don't want to be their faces on the screen, so that's understandable. There's a plane going on overhead. The ears hear it, but they're not complaining. They're not commenting on it. Hearing isn't commenting. The mind comments. 747. Oh, for goodness sake, why do you fly over now? That's the mind. There we are. Whoop, in. Don't try to stop the mind. Observe it. Okay? Anyway, that'll do. I'm going to get some eggs now. We're having frittata for dinner. We like all things Italian, so we don't have omelette, we have frittatas. It's the same thing. I'd have a glass of Italian red with it. Lovely. Thanks for joining in, guys. And, you know, make the difference. Don't let life pass you by. You know, I'm 61 tomorrow, and geez, oh my God. And then the illness, you know, it's like, oh, okay. It really is approaching. It really is. But you have to find peace before you get there. Find that there's an eternal peace. God, what a thing to leave you on. Maybe I'll do the next one on the eternal peace. Eternal peace, it is here. If you're interested in me doing a session on eternal peace, then just drop me a line and I will. Bye, guys.